We can now go across to correspondent Maria Gerth-Niculescu. Good afternoon to you. Talk us through what exactly is happening today.
Well, the handover took place by the Tigrayan forces to the Ethiopian National Army in the town of Agulai, about 30 kilometers northeast of the regional capital, Mekele. The event was overseen by a monitoring team comprised of members of the two sides, as well as the East African body called Intergovernmental Authority on Development. The demobilization is one of the key elements of the Pretoria peace agreement, which was signed last November between Tigrayan authorities and the Ethiopian federal government. Getachew Reda, a spokesperson for Tigrayan authorities, announced the handover of the weapons via Twitter on Tuesday, and a representative of the Tigrayan Defense Forces said that this disarmament will play a major role in restoring peace. This comes as other key elements of the peace agreement, such as the restoration of electricity and banking services, have also been started to be implemented over the past weeks. This over 2 years after the conflict started in November 2020. Questions remain, however, around the presence of Eritrean troops in Tigray. While they have left major towns in the region, their presence is still being reported in several areas. Eritrea is not a signatory of the Pretoria Peace Agreement, although it has played a major part in the conflict since 2020.
Maria, you used to report from Ethiopia. Talk us through how significant this peace agreement is, given how much suffering this conflict created.
Well, the peace agreement is extremely significant, especially now in the light of the recent developments, because we've seen that it's not only a signature on a paper. Things have actually started to improve, and it's not only the handing over of heavy weapons, it's also the fact that humanitarian aid, electricity, telecommunications, banking services, and commercial flights have partially been restored after 1 year and a half of complete blackout. This means that some families have been reunited after 2 years of not even being able to speak to each other. Now, despite these very promising steps, we'll have to see how the situation evolves in the coming weeks, particularly with regards to Eritrea. Witnesses are still reporting the presence of Eritrean troops in Tigray, and the Eritrean government has not commented on a possible complete withdrawal. Eritrea has entered Tigray since the onset of the war in November 2020, initially fighting alongside troops from the Ethiopian Federal Army against Tigrayan forces. Then there's also, of course, the issue of accountability. Eritrean soldiers have been accused of violent crimes such as massacres, rapes, lootings, and so on. The Ethiopian National Army and regional forces from Tigray and Amhara are also accused of crimes against the civilian population. But for now, it seems like Tigrayans are finally seeing the end of the tunnel after 2 years of hardship, including hunger and lack of access to medical services.
Maria, thank you very much for that. Maria Gerth-Niculescu reporting there.